Hey everybody, Johnny Disc Golf back with another off-season interview. This time I am joined by Mr. Jump Putt Jones himself, Kevin Jones. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Corey? I appreciate you having me on, man. I haven't got to talk much this offseason yet.
Yeah, I have noticed that. There's been a lot of headlines, a lot of people making announcements, but you've been kind of laying low, just living life in Charlotte. What's it been like last, month or so?
It definitely feels that way. I feel like I've been living life low. I haven't been playing a ton of disc golf. I've been taking it easy there, making sure that my body's okay, and making sure that I have that motivation for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if you play the whole offseason, you can lose a little bit of that fire. Um, but yeah, it's been nice. It's been tranquil. I've been playing some Fortnite, making some
Ooh.
music, and just like kind of messing around this new house that I got.
Yeah, I was just going to mention it. We did one of these interviews last off season from not the house you're in now because you've purchased a house in Charlotte and that's where your residence is, right?
Yeah, I as a disc golfer, you need somewhere to crash in the off season, and I had been doing that at my parents' house for a while, and that's great and
Hmm.
all, but to be around a place like Charlotte where they have a huge disc golf community as well as amazing courses, it's pretty awesome. I'm only 15 minutes from three or four championship level courses.
Oh man, that's beautiful. So you said though that you haven't been playing much golf. Just trying to work on the body, like get it rest and relaxed. And when are you going to start hitting it hard?
Yeah, well, I mean, last year coming down the stretch, I definitely felt a little bit of that burnout sensation that is just awful to feel.
Hmm.
And so I'm just getting rid of that, just taking a big old break from the game. And then here in a couple weeks, probably or less, I'm about to start hammering it out really hard. And I'll be super ready to go for this next season. This next season is going to be huge, as you probably know.
Yes, it is. Really in all facets. One thing that you really try to focus on, or at least from my perspective, over the last year, 18 months, is like your personal brand and, as, making a business out of this whole thing. You've got kevinjones.com. You've got, I mean, I know Gannon Burr was putting with your logo on his putter, all DGPT championship. What has that been like, focusing on things that aren't just putts going in the basket? And has that developed over the offseason at all?
Yeah, it definitely has developed. I've actually got a new guy working for me. He's like my manager kind of person.
Mm.
And it's just like a monthly salary kind of thing where I'm paying him to keep me in line. And it's only been a few weeks so far, but it's extremely worth it. It's a huge weight off my shoulders and really thankful to have him.
Yeah, I can imagine. And just speaking from my own experience, as a freelancer, it's ballpark the same way of how it's like a giant hustle, and keeping yourself honest is like legit the hardest part of the whole deal. So I respect you for that one. Let's talk about last season, just a little bit. The first thing that comes to mind, the awards that just got announced. Uh, Ricky Wysocki taking home Player of the Year, Gannon Burr, Rookie of the Year, and Most Improved Kyle Klein. Did you have any thoughts? Like, what were your reactions when you saw that? Do you feel like Rick was the Player of the Year?
Yeah, I would say Rick was the player of the year in my opinion. I am not extremely familiar with individual stats and like where people are finishing and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but when I look at last season and I just look at somebody who was really dominant and more dominant than anybody else in the field, it has to be Ricky for this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of where my head was at too. Not great finishes at the biggest majors of the year, but overall he was in the mix at every single tournament the whole year. Um,
Everyone.
yeah, so Kyle Klein won most improved, and I film a lot, but granted, I'm at like the top. I just kind of hang out in those top cards because that's what we're making the footage of. You're
Mhm.
more in the trenches in the open field, sometimes playing with guys that I don't necessarily see all the time. Do you have any eyes on someone for next year, maybe earning that most improved?
Mm, I don't know. The only person that comes to my mind is maybe Trevin.
Mm.
Uh, what's his Trevin Cow? Trevin.
Trevor Cow.
He's Trevin is his name. Trevin
Mm.
Cow or something like that. But I don't know his last name. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean that's just me. I'm not really paying attention to other people
sure.
out there all that much. But some young kid who hustles like I can see myself hustling in the past, or Kyle,
Hmm.
well deserving of that most improved award. I think it would be somebody like Trevin, where they're stepping out, or even Gannon. I mean, where they step out and just go on tour into the darkness that tour is, where you don't really have a place to stay guaranteed. And that's the hardest part, without a
Yeah.
doubt. And so whoever does that is going to be a really good candidate for that.
Yeah, I talked to Cole Redalin a little bit ago. He's another one on that list that, has all the skills, all the shots, and could take that next step. Um, I have to imagine going into the season and going into next season are thinking about player of the year and trying to be the best player that you can possibly be. What are your own thoughts on this past season, like your play specifically?
Well, I mean, it's not what I'm wanting to do every year, but I'm not disappointed at myself. I had so many great finishes. Yeah, it's just that's what it comes down to. I'm not disappointed at myself. I'm proud of myself actually for getting, like you said, in the trenches and battling my way out. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
finish in the trenches very often, so yeah, I rarely do finish in the trenches. It's just all about battling out of them.
Yeah, and I mean, just thinking back on it, there's probably 3 or 4 events that if one putt goes in, if one disc stops 6 inches short of out of bounds, you've got 3, 4, 5 victories out there, and one
Yeah,
of the best seasons, of anyone out there. Do you feel like you were just that close to having a not breakout, but a great season like that?
yeah, I feel exactly like you just said, exactly what you were saying. I mean, I'm not disappointed. I feel like I could have had 5 victories easily, and next year maybe I will have 5 victories. Um, so yeah, I'm happy with it, and looking forward to next year, more opportunities.
Sure. One thing that you guys filmed over the course of the season and is just coming out now, the Jomez putting game, uh,
Oh yeah,
that almost puts you in your element. Like specifically that bouncing around one, like it feels like
oh
that
yeah.
you've got to be higher rated than anyone in a world like that. Like, what was describe the experience? What was it like filming it? What's it like seeing it now come out?
Well, even though that was literally all the way back in March, so a long
Mm-hmm.
time ago, I remember it so vividly because it was so epic to walk
Yeah.
in. They said, "Hey, show up at 6 o'clock or whatever," and we have no idea what's going on. We're pretty sure we're going to play pig or whatever, the
Mm-hmm.
normal horse game that you play with discs, and uh, they don't let us go into this building yet. They just want us to wait outside, and then we all walk in together, and it's like all this LED light, like
Oh.
so cool, and just like the possibilities of putting. You can be so creative in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was super cool. I remember when we did it, I'm like, this is the content that people want to see. This is it
Yes.
right here. This is going to get views. I would watch every second of this and
Mm-hmm.
love it. And so it's cool that they finally put that out. I don't know if they had it out on Patreon before or whatever, which they probably did, but it's
But
good
it's
stuff.
now, yeah, it's now coming out, and
Mhm.
it kind of falls in line with that practice round, the GK Pro skins, champs versus
Mhm.
chumps, and kind of like all just allowing you guys to show your personality and just show. I like to say like the front of your face instead of like we see so many shots of the back of your head ripping discs through the woods, but like
Mhm.
content that shows the front of your face and just the emotion. Uh, Maybe my favorite moment of the entire thing so far. Sorry, it's not you, but it's sneaking James Conrad on the treadmill when he's leaning down. Like, is there a moment that stands out to you that like was just iconic and would only have happened in that situation?
Well, what sticks out to me about that one is when Eagle put me in a position that was like a kneeling putt,
Yeah.
where it was total like it's really hard to make a straddle putter at a disadvantage because they're
Mm-hmm.
almost always just a normal putt. But he put me at the perfect, like worst Kevin Jones putt possible, like a low on the knee spin putt that kind of has to
Yeah.
raise, and
Mm-hmm.
that's literally what Eagle makes money doing. So
Oh my God, I love
that
it.
was
No,
tough, but that's what comes out to me.
yeah, and I really I can't wait to see more that come out because I'm pretty sure they filmed like I mean I'm not I don't think I'm breaking any news, but they filmed like a lot of those. It was almost like one per event, right?
For sure. I mean, that was the first of probably 4 that I was in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
they got a bunch.
Cool. I love that. Let's move it a little bit to next season. Let's talk tour plans, goals, what you're gonna accomplish this next year. Are you writing any goals down? Are you even thinking about next season as far as performance right now, or like you've looked at the schedule, obviously?
Yeah, I looked at the schedule, and I mean, my goals just stay the same. I'm trying to win every event that I'm at, and less harsh. I'm trying to be in contention at every event I'm at. I'm sick of taking myself out of it, and I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes you just can't do anything about it. other times maybe you could have done something about it mentally. So I'm just going to work on having a better outlook, more positive outlook. And sometimes I'm in the mix at tournaments when I just don't feel like when I don't feel great in the
Mm-hmm.
game, but I just played solid and I just kept going. And so just got to give 100%, never stop, you know?
Yeah. Did you find that the fatigue kind of at the end of last year made it easier for you to like not grind out a tournament and just kind of like pack it in if you weren't on pace through the first 9 holes or something like that?
Well, I don't know. Not grinding out a tournament is a horrible decision for me, and it makes me the least happy that I could possibly be.
Mm.
So it's there's no choice when you're in the round and you're like, all right, am I going to throw a good shot here or not? Like, there's just no decision to be made there.
Yeah. No, that's fair. What about tour plans? Are you hitting every single one? Are you hit? There's a new major on the docket out at IDGC Champions
Yep,
Cup. Are you planning on playing it every event?
for sure, especially the majors. Majors are kind of what we live for, but as well as the Pro Tour right now has upped the standard as they have every year.
Mm-hmm.
I expect great things this year from the Pro Tour. I will play every one of those events. It pays off in many ways playing them, and I'll
Yeah.
sprinkle in some Silver Series as well for sure. Not all of
Yeah.
them, but some of them.
Are you going to be at Are you going to be at Masters Cup? I have to
Yeah.
imagine. Okay,
Wait,
good,
is
good,
that
good.
is it? That's a Silver Series. That's not a.
Masters
It's
Cup
not
and
a.
Beaver State are Silver Series this year.
I probably won't go to those then.
Really?
I probably won't. Just as far as travel is concerned, if I'm not mistaken, it's those two tournaments and that's it. Is that right?
No, no, no. It's OTB, Masters Cup, Beaver State Fling, and Portland Open, all in the same range,
Oh,
and the Polecat World Championships out at Golden Gate Park. If you want to
okay.
partake in a
That's cool.
throwing, yeah. But
You throwing polecats?
yeah, it's a 1 round, 1 disc challenge. You can take a Prodigy disc of choice that's like Polecat esque if they have like a catch disc or something.
Has to be
But
super class though.
exactly. Well, exactly. It has to be like a 1 speed,
Should
pretty
be.
much.
Okay,
So
okay.
anyway, if you want to make it happen, we might make it some exceptions or like put a Prodigy logo on a polecat or something. But we'll try for it. Um,
Well, but to add on to what I was saying, like we nowadays they give us a tour pass option. It's like $4,000. I pay for it, and then I'm done thinking about tournaments. I just show up. So
yeah.
it literally creates my schedule. Now there's the option to add on those silver series and stuff, but
Mm,
you don't have to do that necessarily right now. And they're always
gotcha.
good about like if you don't play events, you can get refunded for them. So I'll get the tour pass with all the silver series, and then I'll just
Mm.
just unregister from what I don't want to play.
Sure. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see you out on the West Coast as much as possible. I mean, it kind of hurts my soul a little bit that the West Coast swing is so light this year, but it was very heavy last year. So, it is what it is. Any van modifications? You had a cool interior look to the van. You had the RGB lights. It was almost like a mobile studio. Any
Yeah,
adjustments
it
this year?
is. No, I'm slacking on the van life, unfortunately, literally slacking. It's the same as last year, but as far as functionality, you cannot beat it. It's got the solar power, it's got the fridge, it has the seating for friends if they want to chill in there and watch like a final round coverage or
Mm-hmm.
something. And it's got the fans. I mean, it's just very functional, but
Yeah.
not super flashy.
Okay. Yeah. Some of the vans that these people have on tour now are like very flashy, like
Of
high level
course.
stuff. But no, it's good. Uh, have you? Speaking of studio, are you making any tracks right now? I was poking around your Instagram this evening, and I
Oh yeah.
noticed you posted a story with some interesting stuff on there. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
Walk me through the music in your life right now.
Cool. Thank you for asking. So recently my computer, the motherboard on it overheated. So my fan stopped working in my MacBook. Motherboard overheated, totally lost everything on it except for tiny things that I sprinkled into like iCloud or whatever. But I guess
Mm.
you could say I learned my lesson. Good thing is I have a bunch of like old what are they're pretty much finished tracks, but they weren't finished in my eyes because I just was,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to reach that point of, all right, I'm done. Here
Done.
it
It
is.
it never.
Because
Yeah.
you can always do something cooler on it or better, but
Mm-hmm.
it might be good. It might be a blessing because now I'm gonna get rid of. I've got at least 8 songs that are like ready to go and they're disc golf influenced. And then I just made a couple the other day when I got my computer back. They're looking good. And then this one that you saw today was a Blinding Lights remix.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get on my remix game because like when DJs are playing shows, like that's really what gets
Yeah.
people into it.
Yeah, if you want a DJ to play your mix, like having a nice popular track behind it, vocal track is
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
where it needs. 8 tracks. You're working on this one. Am I sensing like an EP in your future? What?
100%.
Okay.
100%. This year would be like a slight stretch, but probably 100% next year, if not this year. And the album will be called like something on along the lines of disc golf noises or something like that, because it's cool because like all this music that I've made is it all has some kind of disc golf tie into it. It's got
Mm-hmm.
like either Terry Miller commentating or the slip ace chains
Yep.
like
Oh,
using
really?
as a snare drum or something like that. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
I like that. So, I mean, I know, especially over the past, I don't even know, a couple of years, you've really started to like broaden your network of producers and like people like you are just friends with a lot of like talented musicians and people in
Mm-hmm.
that industry. um is that i- is this like a novelty disc golf fun thing for disc golf fans that you're gonna release, or like are you working with these guys to like try and produce real music and get like a real proper release?
What it comes down to is that I love it. I absolutely love making beats like this. And
Hmm.
so no, it doesn't like the key is to keep loving it and not to have it as a job. So like all those guys that I'm friends with, that's their job and they don't love it anymore. Like they hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, like
uh,
this is amazing what you're doing here. You can make a top 100 song in 30 minutes. And
hmm.
I admire that. And so I'm just like enjoying the ride of it as like a true passion right now. Like I'm just spending hours and hours on my computer just because I want to.
Yep. Well, so at the end of last year, or I guess in the middle, Preserve, you played a show, and then at USDGC, you were supposed to at one point, but the weather got super nasty, so they didn't end up doing it. Are there thoughts about playing at least shows like at tied into disc golf events, like in the evenings, something like that?
Yeah, so the USDGC one actually did happen, but it was bad weather, and so like pretty much nobody was there. But I
Yeah.
played
Okay.
in the rain, so it was kind of cool. But I think I've heard actually that disc golf is incorporating a bunch of music into next season as far as like extracurricular activities. So in my eyes, absolutely, it's going to be a great idea to have like an artist name or an artist presence for myself, so that when they start doing this, I can be like an act for the
Yeah,
disc golf
exactly.
scene.
It's kind
Yeah,
of what I
yeah,
was thinking. It's like now that you're talking about that, I'm like, man, you could like open for big artists that we have that would ties in. That would be like an awesome thing. You know what I mean?
I think so, man. I think so.
Oh, I love it. Is that have you ever like thought about doing collabs with some of the other media companies like myself, Pro Tour, Jomez, anything like that? Like taking your tracks and doing some sort of video element to that?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I haven't thought about the video. See, I haven't. I've thought about having somebody create video visualizers for my songs, but I hadn't thought about like a disc golf media company do it because
Yeah.
I didn't think it was the same thing. Like, like visual graphic design or whatever they call those virtual
Yeah.
DJs.
Yeah, VJs
Like,
or whatever, yeah.
I think that's different. Like, that's like specific, but I don't know. I'm open to it.
All
As
right.
far
Well,
as like highlight cuts and stuff,
yeah.
yes, great.
Okay. Okay. Good. Got it on the back of my mind now. Well, listen, Kev, honestly, this has been like great, and I really appreciate your time taking it out of your, leisurely, tranquil, if you will, off season. But I want to give you a chance. Like, is there anything you're working on that you haven't maybe had a chance to shout out, or like, is there anything that you're cooking up sponsor wise? I know that there's been a lot of narrative around people changing and everything like that, but what's cooking in your world in that regard?
Yeah, let's end this one off with a bang, Corey. So yes, huge things in announcements for me coming up very soon. I've been working with the company to create a great video to announce it. I would assume we're going to be announcing before January 1st, but my
Whoa.
contract is in fact up this year. It was 3-year contract. 2019, 2020, and 2021. And so it was my job to renegotiate this year.
So that's fair to say that we're maybe leaving this.
Huh?
This Prodigy logo right here, is
Oh,
that
it's fair to say. I mean, the contract is over as of now.
okay? Wow. Let's rebook this one for 7 days from now, and
All
we'll
right.
chat about any announcements. Wow, man, I feel like we can't even end it right there, but I feel like we have to. Let's
Hey guys, I'm really sorry, but all good books have a cliffhanger.
okay. Well, hey, any shout outs? Do you want to thank anyone before we get out of here?
I mean, all my fans out there, I still feel the love and support this off season. I have my whole entire family over here waving like this, so I guess I
No.
should. My
Flip the
family, thanks
camera.
for
Flip
my
the
family.
camera. Flip it. Who's here?
There they are. My sister Reagan, my sister Allison, and my mom Mona.
Oh my God,
Yep,
it's a
they are.
family
You
affair.
made their day. Thank you.
That's too cool. My pleasure, man. Seriously, you made mine by even doing the interview. So, really, again, thank you for taking the time. I can't wait to talk to you in like 5 days once we figure out what the announcement is. Please make some time for me. But seriously, everything has been awesome, and I wish you nothing but luck. Guys,
Thank
that's
you,
all
man.
I have for this interview. If you'd like coverage of all things disc golf, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.